uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports.
Yeah, salute to all. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. We back at with another one. Of course, we got to talk about one of the hottest topic going right now, and that is the post fight. Last night fight card. Earlier, I really didn't get into the wickets, but I wanted to shout out the Olympian Amari Jones for going in there, getting rid of a journeyman. He did what he's supposed to. Man, he got mad potential, Amari Jones, man. He got the height, the reach, and I really can't gauge what he has going on right now, except he's basically completing the task like he's supposed to for the level of competition that he's building up. Now he's 2-0. He's still super young in the game, but he got mad potential. Dude ain't showboating, none of that. He getting down to business. He got a bright future in the sport of boxing, a bright future. Of course, there's a surplus of tests that awaits him, but he's still young. He just got here, man. But he's definitely doing what he's supposed to do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Raymond Ford, congrats to him. I don't know what was going on with Raymond. Like, he was in there with the dude who he seemed to have familiarity with, but dude was not punching that much, but yet he had bottled up energy. And with that energy, he wasn't really emitting it the way it should be. He wasn't projecting that energy towards Raymond. Like, Ford would land some shots on him, and then he said, okay, I took that. I'm gonna keep coming forward. And to me, it just seems like he was there to move around and collect the check. I think it could have been tougher than what he could have been, made the fight more exciting. But he would keep walking and walking him down. But what next? Matisse? I mean, you're a tough dude, obviously. But you gave us nothing to go off of if we selected to build you up after this fight. Nothing. All you showed is you can be a punching bag. That's it. You want your boy to rout you instead of putting on a show. Something ain't right, man. Something ain't right with this dude. Like, he did more trash talking, taking punches to the head than you actually did letting your hands do the talking and the walking. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it wasn't what it turned out to be. I mean, Raymond Ford did somewhat what he was supposed to, but it just seems like he could have did more. Oh boy, wasn't even punching. I don't know if he kind of felt his power. I don't know if Raymond Ford kind of felt Matisse's power, but he kept park benching up against the ropes, and Matisse's hands wasn't even doing anything. It was just a lot of feint and feint, trying to wait and time, and the punch never came. Well, shout out to Raymond Ford, man. I got some audio I want you to take a look at because this topic is once again on the stove, yo. It's on the stove for a reason that, sometimes you may smell something cooking, and from afar, it seems like, oh man, okay, all right, somebody's cooking something up. That smell good, damn. The way it used to be. When your neighbors was cooking, those of you that was born back then, you used to be able to say, damn, so-and-so cooking, man. That smells good. There was a lot of cooking going on. Now it's a lot of eating out. But anyway, this cooking, once you walk up on the stove, man, you find out there's some sardines in that motherfucking. You know what I'm saying? It's some Vienna sausages in there. You say, God damn, I wasn't expecting this to smell like shit. This shit stink. This is what's cooking up with the social media community now when it comes to, you know, giving their thoughts on the fight last night, the main event. I spoke on it not too long ago about Ennis spectacular in there against said name opponent, Imantas Stantionis. We passed that. That was yesterday. We passed that. We want to talk about what is the forecast going to be about this unification. Eddie Hearns quickly put it out there that they're going to be contending against Uzbekistan, I believe, fighter next. So they already have a fight lined up. Not named Brian Norman, right? Of course, word has it Norman may go across the waters over Japan and fight Sen Sasaki. That's his name. But the whole point is there needs to be some reflection for those of you that's pretending like you want to bring up the money issue again. I really don't like talking about numbers because when you try to have a dialogue with these YTC social media pundits, everybody want to act like they're getting a percentage of these boxers' purses. They act like they're in a as a consumer, they're holding down a position where they believe they can mediate. They can mediate whether a fighter should be getting this or should get that. So the talk now is coming back up to the surface on the initial deal that's old news on how much Norman Jr. turned down from what was offered. I keep on hearing he was getting 7 times. He was getting 9 times. People are talking about what a person is getting, but yet they don't give a damn about knowing what the deductions are. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a clue about what all entails the deductions. Who has to be paid? Uncle Sam, first and foremost. If you're a champion, sanctioned body, right? Sanctioned body got to get they goddamn 3%. And then whatever else entails crossing the bridge, you have to pay the toll. So they look at that and they say, hey, man, he should have took that because he was getting 20 times more than what he ever got paid in his career. So WCS has this question. Let me propose this question to you. At what point in your career do you identify that you're on the verge of, let's just say, becoming a notable name in the sport? You finally get to that point where you are now a reigning defending champion. So at what point do you start negotiating a higher monetary bar to increase your value? When you just pick up a championship belt and then all of a sudden you say, no, I just want the moment. Some fighters, they're in a position where, yeah, they have to take less money or they have to make the sacrifice just to get the opportunity. I get it. But someone explain me this. Why every time a black fighter is in that seat, they got to be compared to another black fighter that made a sacrifice and took less money? Why? You don't never hear them talking about a non-black fighter that made a sacrifice to take the money. If Canelo's name is in the picture, oh, everybody should take a back seat to Canelo. Oh, yeah, you definitely. That's Canelo we talking about now. Yeah, you should take less money. Take less money. Take less money. But when it comes to the black fighters that's in a position, especially, look, this is black fighters going against each other. We've seen it with Crawford. Now we're seeing it with Norman Jr. Oh, he should have took that. Why? Oh, it's 23 times more than what he ever made. Okay. So that's not true. But I understand that you don't give a damn about what needs to be paid off and all the fine details within the deal, right? So when do a person start negotiating their worth? When do they stand down? When do they stand down, all 10 toes, and be patient enough? Why is it you should just take what they give you type of slavish talk? Why is that so normal? You should just take what they give you. So a fighter should go into a tougher fight than I will say 98% of their resume at the time. They should go into a fight that's going to be the toughest fight in someone else's backyard, and they should just take what's given to them, all because it's a higher amount. Let me remind you of Eddie Hearn, and I have no issue with Eddie Hearn because I don't have to deal with him. Eddie Hearn be on some bullshit the way he be up here tossing these numbers around. Eddie Hearn is the type of person that said that Deontay Wilder is only made this amount. Let's just say Eddie Hearn say Deontay Wilder made $1,000 his last fight, and Deontay Wilder made $1,000. I'm here to give him the biggest payday of his career. Okay, he made $1,000 his last fight, but me, my offer is $1,350. That's Eddie Hearn's. I'm willing to give him his highest payday, $1,350, vice the $1,000 that he received his last fight. I'm going to increase his pay $350. That's higher than he'd ever getting paid in his career up to this point. That's Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn will talk as if that shit makes sense. Eddie Hearn will talk as if that shit makes sense, bro. Boots been signed with Matchroom for 3 fights, right? 2 out of the 3 fights was Karen. Then he finally gets a title shot. Kudos to him. But I've been hearing a lot of people up here on this PBC horn blowing. PBC. Okay. I hear you. Let's get to the money. Let's get to the money, though, because the conversation has rose again about the value of the fighter. So he gets with Stantionis. He wipes his nose. Get him up out of there. Of course, the post-fight conference, the conversation is going to present itself once again about the rest of the 147-pound division. It's only right that we talk about the remaining 2 champions in the division. I want you to take a listen to this audio right quick, because we need to get down to some things, okay? We need to get down to some questions that we have dealing with this money issue on what was sent and all this. That's why certain fighters, they leave the sport and then they have to come back when they way over their prime and get knocked out, 8 more times, and then go back in retirement with more health issues than they had previously to return into the ring. This is YSM Sports. Salute to you. This is an old vid of Ennis talking about where he, him. He said, I sent the office. Okay. We who followed this know the real deal, but this is the first audio that I want you to listen to.
So whoever got them belts, they got to come see me, or we coming to see you. I'm coming to take them belts and be undisputed.
What does being undisputed mean to you as a fighter?
I feel like about nothing else. So whoever got them belts, they got to come put it in those guys' hands now. It's not, first of all, it's not even up to the promoters. It's I did all I could, to Barrios, Brian Norman, Stanionis, it's out of my hands now. Stanionis, it's out of my hands now. Still no news, but I sent the offers out to Barrios, Brian Norman, Stanionis, it's out of my hands now. I did all I could, to make these fights happen, and I'm just, I put it in those guys' hands now. It's not, first of all, it's not even up to the promoters. It's up to us. I want these fights. I'm trying to collect these belts. I'm down here for one thing and one.
Now that right there It's probably the best thing I heard Boots say outside of whatever he's talking about. That's the best thing. You're not sticking to the game plan. You're not remembering your own words, Boots. You say it's up to us, right? You're insinuating. Let me go back a little bit. He says up to us, right?
It's up to us. You know, I want these fights. You know,
It's up to the fighters. I want these fights. It's up to the fighters. It's up to us. I want these fights. That's what Ennis said. It's up to us, right? Ennis, that's what you said. It's not even up to them. It's up to us. So why are we not on the phone since you sent offers out to Norman Jr., Stantionis, and Barrios? Why are you not on the phone, or why you wasn't talking that talk after the post-fight, at the post-fight conference? If it's up to you all, why you say, oh, I'm going to reach out just like Crawford did to Spence and have a conversation about making this fight happen? No, what we get a whole spread load of fresh cow manure on wheat bread. That's what we got. You say it's up to us, the fighters. But when are you gonna say, okay, it's time for me to step up? You're older than Norman Jr. You're 27. You're a grown man, no doubt. But when are you gonna say, I'm gonna make a phone call and we're gonna try to make this fight? No, you're hiding behind Eddie. Now all of a sudden, you recently said, oh yeah, he the mouthpiece. I don't need to talk. You on your phone. So that's a reason to me that's just confusing as hell. Like you in that moment, you might have still had your adrenaline going and you say it's up to us. I like that. I like the fact that you say it's up to us. But who's really in control here? Who's shifting the gears? It seems like it's not you, man. It seems like it's not you, because you speak just like you fight. You a counter puncher. You know, you have effective countering skills, real talk. You do that well. But in the business part of boxing, it would be great if you can be the one that proves that you can set the tone, the pressure, be consistent with it, take control of certain areas of your career, like you're contending to be a superstar in the sport. You say it's up to y'all. Let's keep it going.
I'm trying to collect these belts. I'm down here for one thing and one thing only, is to be undisputed. Collect all the belts. You know, I'm not worrying about nothing else. So whoever got them belts, they got to come see me, or we coming to see you. You know, I'm coming to take them belts and be undisputed.
What is being undisputed?
So he's saying he's coming to you. He's talking to the champions. I'm coming to you. That's what he said. I'm coming to you, yo. He's letting it be known. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. What does that mean? What does that mean? He's saying he's going to be proactive and he's going to initiate going out and trying to make these fights happen, because his declaration, just like Spence, is he wants to be undisputed at 147. That is Jaron Ennis's declaration. He wants to be undisputed. In order for him to be undisputed, he has 2 more belts, but he's about to fight somebody that really don't even make any sense. When Errol Spence was on his quest for undisputed, upon his return, he fought Sean Porter, he fought Yordenis Ugas. He didn't fight Sean Porter and then went out there and fought what's a good fighter? Prince Hamed. He didn't go looking for him. He didn't say, oh, I need to fight Zab Judah. Let me go out here and see what Zab up to. I mean, what does this guy have to do with anything? We know what unification trumps. We know a lot of that. But it just seems like somebody doesn't have their eye on the prize, man. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they do not want to go to the range and work on their sight alignment, sight picture. Because us, the fans, the consumers, we want to see the fight. Let's pay attention to what Eddie Hearn is talking about again, post-fight presser. Okay? You tell me if you can pick out the lies.
Listen, I heard that Barrios is talking about fighting Manny Pacquiao. I mean, what's all that about? Right? Brian Norman, for me, I spoke to Bob Arum during the week. He made it clear to me they want to try and make that fight. There's probably close to 10 times the biggest payday of Brian Norman's career to fight Boots 10 times. There's probably close to 10 times the biggest payday of Brian Norman's career. 10 times the biggest payday of Brian Norman's career to fight Boots Ennis. If you don't want to get in the ring, you might as well retire from the sport, because what's it all about? That kind of payday to fight the very best in the sport and prove yourself as a pound-for-pound great. If you don't want to get in the ring, you might as well retire from the sport, because what's it all about? That kind of payday to fight the very best in the sport and prove yourself as a pound-for-pound great. So stop with Twitter, stop with Instagram, grow a set of balls and come and be in one of the biggest fights in the sport.
You hear when Eddie Hearns, when he say grow a set of balls, how people laugh about that shit. Yeah, it's funny because he has the British accent, and it's no different than what we say over here. Grow a set of balls. I guess when he says it has more, kick to it, so to speak. He says with a British, a British etiquette, a decorum. When he speaks, he's articulating grow a set of balls, and it's funny. But I'm saying to myself, where does the balls come into play? Does the balls come into just going off the word that was said to a person that's familiar with that term? Does it relate to the situation that we're trying to deal with right now with making the fight happen? Who is in rotation? Who keeps the cylinders the way they're supposed to maintain? The promoters and the managers, right? It's supposed to be them working for the fighters, but most of the time the fighters, like we see here, the fighters are just waiting to see what the promoter is going to do. Nobody's telling Eddie Hearns what to do. Eddie Hearns is sitting next to a fighter who had his last fight on Matchroom, didn't he? Or is he locked in for another couple of years due to him picking up Stantion's belt? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Is Boots Ennis detached from Matchroom at this point, or he's locked in since he picked up another title? You have to ask yourself, he's a unified champion, because there's a lot of voices out here echoing that they want him to sign with PBC just so he can get the Barrios fight, which is lunacy. It's absolutely lunacy to hear that, hey, they just want him to sign with PBC just for a Barrios fight. Here we go, retreading the same path that we went through several years ago, where people are up here trying to say that, yeah, he go over there, he should sign with PBC just to get a Barrios fight. I mean, have you heard of cross promotion? Is not something that's a strange. Cross promotion has been happening as of recently, more so at a repetitive pace. It's been remediated over and over again. Cross promotions is not impossible, but when it comes to a fight like this, and you have the consumers selecting a side, that's when they come up and try to talk about who gets to the belt first. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't we trying to see Undisputed? So then you all learn something, that you can collect all the belts you want, but there's only going to be one fight for Undisputed? Who cares who gets the belt first? You still got to pay sanction fees on those belts. Are y'all not caring about how much, sanction fees Jaron Ennis has to pay when he steps in the ring for Undisputed? Do y'all know the whole layout on what has the payout need to, the payout demands for both fighters? What are the deductions for coming from both sides? Or y'all just care about the race? It seems like a lot of y'all cats just care about the race. Y'all get older and older and older. Y'all pick up age all the time, and y'all talk about the same embryonic type narratives. You always want to say, oh man, I'm all about the thrill and the suspense. I'm all about the playground type sandbox shit. I want to see, can I get on the swings and do a backflip off the swing and land on my feet? Why are we talking about the same elementary type shit? Who gets the titles first? At the end of the day, Undisputed It's one night. Lights, camera, action. Why do you hear so much about they don't want Norman Jr. to fight Barrios so he can pick up a title? They absolutely learn nothing from Spence, bro. Let's just put this scenario out there. Let's just say Jaron Ennis had 3 belts. In order for him in the 4-belt era to be deemed undisputed, what does he have to do? He have to pick up the 4th belt, which is the WBO title, right? He has to compete for the final strap. What does Brian Norman have to do? If Boots has all 3 of the other titles, he has to try the best, him and his team, to lock in a deal so they can contend at a future date for undisputed. That means, just like in history, right? Just like in history, just like Tyson Fury came into the Usyk fight, he had a single strap, the WBC Heavyweight Championship. Therefore, Crawford had the WBO strap, Norman the WBO strap. This is not something that's extinct. They're only fighting for undisputed on a single night. So why are we talking about you want Boots to leave Matchroom so he can go over here and sign with PBC to get the damn Barrios fight first? And then when y'all are saying that y'all are basically regurgitating the same garbage that we seen you all talking about with Spence and Crawford. And then they finally make the fight. Y'all are dissatisfied that Crawford and Spence fight was made because they're not at each other's throat. They was having conversations, talking about the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So both of these fighters, these warriors, can get paid their biggest payday. They was on there doing business, right? So why can't Boots stand up to his word when he said it's up to us, and get on the phone just like Spence and Crawford and try to make this fight happen instead of them using third party and laughing at grow a set of balls and shit? That shit childish, bro. Man, we trying to see some fights. Did we not learn anything? We had 2 black fighters in Spence and Crawford get on the phone and communicate with each other for a high payday, and also to give the fans what we want to see. Now we have 2 other fighters in the exact same division that can get their highest payday. And here we are. We have this cat up here talking about money. We have people talking about money, money, money. I swear to God, boxing fans are absolutely the worst when it comes to bigging up a fight that they want to see. They always have to select sides, and then they want to say how much defamatory information can I bring up about this particular fighter to basically somehow, some way enhance the value of the fighter that I actually support. Does that have to do with business? No, that is your personal feelings. Let's see what else Eddie Hearns has to say.
Wells Fargo, back end of the summer or September or wherever it's going to be when he's ready. Let's make it happen.
So they were talking about Atlanta as a potential.
Fuck it. Why? He's just boxed on an undercard in front of.
So they're talking about Norman just boxed on an undercard, right? So we look at Boots boxing in Philly, and Philly is a bigger boxing, footprint than the A. But you have to start somewhere, right? So you just have to look at it this way too. Barrios fought Tank Davis in Atlanta in the A. Barrios has never fought down there, but he fought Tank in the A. Shakur Stevenson, he hasn't fought down there, but him and Jamel Herring came down there and fought in the A. When Eddie Hearns talk like this, he's trying to discourage something that will absolutely take off in a city as big as the A. We have so much going on down here that deals with entertainment that why would you shit on a potential fight happening down here in the A? But listen, I'm not going to take too much time trying to explain to y'all how this may hurt Jaron Ennis in the future with him thinking all his fights is going to be closely in proximity of Philly. It's going to come a time and place when he's talking about becoming undisputed in 4 divisions. He have a long road ahead of him if he believes that he's going to continue to fight in that. In Philly, there's nothing wrong with get your money, but don't shit on your opponent. When both of y'all are supposed to be talking this business, that's what you said, Ennis. You said us. It's up to us. But yet you up there laughing at what Eddie Hearns is saying. That doesn't seem like you're able to take control and make the phone call like Crawford did for Spence.
Of about 1,200 people. This guy, you heard what he said, 15,000, 12,000, 9,000 tonight, whatever it was. Come on. No, and that's what I said to those guys last time. Oh, we're not going to Philadelphia. Where do you think the money comes from? You know? So this is not about being disrespectful. But Brian Norman's a great fighter. But don't we want to make great fights for the sport? You know, and like this guy's, he ain't losing at 47. He ain't losing at 54. He ain't losing at 60. Watch what he does over the next few years. He's going through all the divisions.
It's easy for Eddie Hearns to say, you know, he's a mouthpiece. Eddie Hearns is the best when it comes to the promoters at talking. I don't take the shit personal. That's one of the areas of his POA, his position of authority, that he does well. He's the mouthpiece. But I think at this point in time, the fighters need to speak up too, not just when it comes to oppressor and they trash talking each other. When it comes to the business aspect, how are you going to be a star, a huge star, when nobody knows what you got going on in between fights? Now, last night, that was an eye-opener to say, yes, you finally had a coming out fight. You finally had that coming out fight where the fight fans was tuned in and say, man, Ennis out there putting on a show. He put on a show. That's what he did. He put on a show. Also, we need to also you zoom in the lens just a little bit, that he stunned on a fighter with that type of style the way he was supposed to. It wasn't like that fighter Stantionis was deemed a 50-50 contender. He was a champion. But it wasn't, I didn't hear anybody saying that this is a 50-50 fight. It's some people here and there that were saying, well, I think, Standing, I think. No, a 50-50 fight is the fight fans saying, I don't know who's going to win. This is a tight, closely contested, skill for skill, IQ type of fight. They weren't saying that about Stantionis. So when he got in there, damn near he looked like Baranchek in there with Keyshawn. I'm serious. Keyshawn just had a more devastating knockout stoppage than Jaron Ennis finishing him and him genuflecting in the corner, taking a knee. I'm just being honest, man. I'm not hating. Why do I make mention of that? Is that Ennis performed very well for the style of fighter that was in front of him. Absolutely. Center stage. He gave us the boxing entertainment. Not every fighter is going to have that type of flair. Okay? Not every fighter is going to have that type of flair. But at the end of the day, a lot of Ennis fans was anxious to see him have a step-out performance. Last night was a step-out performance. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But when it comes to these consumers, there's a lot of you who I hear that say you're hardcore aficionados, but every time you crack your lips open, it smells like a boiled egg, because you're talking some nonsense, bro. You up here to the favoritism all the way in type of shit. Oh, so-and-so shouldn't get this. Norman shouldn't get that. No, do you want to see the fight or not? So a fighter's going in there for something that's grandiose. That's unification of 147 pounds. Shouldn't they be compensated? Shouldn't they? Shouldn't they be compensated handsomely? It should be well worth it for both fighters to go in there, just like we seen Spence and Crawford. They was compensated very well. I mean, there was a lot of people that wasn't too happy about that, because they wanted Crawford to go in there and only make 2,000 for that fight. I mean, you know, we hate goes a long ways. Some people get blinded by hate. They'll sit up there. No, I don't think he should get paid that. That's what we have going on right now. Eddie Hearn can talk what he talks. He can talk about undercards. But you have to understand that your fighter's in the same position as Spence. He's in the same position as Spence, man. He made the declaration that he wanted to unify. So now it's on the manifesto, but yet y'all fighting other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me let you see something right quick. All right. And this is a part of why I don't think Jaron Ennis, or how I believe Jaron Ennis is not going to be that star that you're looking for. All right. And I'm not going to be hypocritical of this, because I still think Tank has more star power than Ennis. Real talk. I still do. But I'm going to show you something right quick. I'm not going to show you a lot, but I'm going to show you. I don't even want to do it. I really don't want to do it. But what I want to show you is Ennis being on his phone, why media is speaking to him in the post-fight presser. As you remember, Eddie Hearns looked at him during the presser and say, you're playing Sudoku, or whatever the game is he was playing. You had a press conference. Right now, while the media post-fight who stayed there to answer a question, he's on his phone.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to those people who were saying you weren't going to be able to make a weight? You would have what do you have to say about your power after the stop?
146.
Yo, I don't know. People, y'all social media people crazy. I seen so many people talking about look weight drain. He don't like he gonna make weight.
Ennis say he's seen, right? This is the guy who on another platform say he don't pay attention to social media. He's not even on social media like that. But he said he's seen what people were saying about him looking weight drained. I don't care to speak on it. He does look a little gaunt, as I said, but he rehydrated real nice. He looked like a middleweight in there.
This, day, and the third. I was at weight on Tuesday. I didn't work out since Tuesday. I ate the day before the weigh-in. I make 147 easy. You know, y'all don't know what y'all be talking about. Y'all just be talking on the net, and y'all gotta chill. You seen it, and I really was like just getting in my bag, getting in my groove for real. Like I said before, none of these fighters can mess with me. I'm the best in the world.
I just want to say as well, I don't know if it's the right time to move down to 140.
Huh?
Remember at the weight. Hold on. Wait till you call that, guys, please. Yep.
Probably. I gotta watch it. Even though I was in there, I can't say yet. You know, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go in the hotel room. Well, I'm gonna go party first, then go watch it, and then we'll see. I'll let y'all know. I'll give my assessment.
Dick.
What did you say? I didn't know.
Pulling out the trainer, pulling out Stanionis.
Like stopping it. Wait, was that the right decision?
I think that was the right decision to make instead of a punishment like that. We're taking a bad beating, man. You know what I mean? You see his face.
The Atlantic States, the onus is known for his determination, style.
My bad. I know you can't really hear what the media is asking.
Strong stance. You took it from.
So hypothetically, we all thought in the past week.
Keep saying it. These fighters can't mess with me.
I think he's right.
So Ennis keeps saying these fighters can't mess with me, and then he gets back on the phone. Then he gets on the phone. They're talking about how the Normans are on a press tour, but when he just had the best performance of his career, he's really focused on being on the phone. I don't know what's more important at this point in time. What you doing on your phone, or what? This in an indirect way is forcing Eddie Hearns to talk more than he should be. I mean, there's a lot that you can weigh into this situation. I mean, in the worst type of weight. I'm talking about the heavy side of the minuses that goes along with somebody who cannot stay focused in promoting himself to be that star, because so many people complained about how Crawford didn't want to mess with the media and he didn't want to talk to the media early in his career, right? What about someone who's up there and so many people have this hope and desire to see him out there at the top of the echelon, and he's busy on his phone. He's not even paying attention, really 100% focused to the media. And he say, oh, you know, these fighters can't mess with me, and that's that. It's going to take a lot more for you to have that 10 to $15 million payday. It's just not going to come off you fighting whoever. You're not going to move up. Let's see, you know, after he's done with 147, he moves up and have a media championship fight at 154. Let's see if you have a media championship fight at 160.
But look, we've also got, Shakram Gearsov that's ordered to fight the winner of tonight. We have to deal with that situation.
They just mentioned Gearsov. So they have Gearsov coming up. No Brian Norman Jr. Gearsov don't have a belt. So this is going to further prolong. So you cats is on social media, talking about Boost is going to get this title. That he's not even fighting Barrios next. They're fighting Gearsov. So we're in April. No telling when this fight going to happen. That's probably going to be his last fight of the year, bro. He's not going to fight Gearsov and then go in there and fight another unification bout near the end of the year. It'll be good to get him in here 3 times this year. But they're fighting Gearsov, so we won't see anything possibly that makes any sense with another belt until 2026, man. I'm just trying to help y'all see through the mist, the condensation on the mirror.
We got Brian Norman, we got Barrios. We'll talk, but I want to see him fight the other champions. Yeah.
Congratulations on bringing boxing back to the boardwalk right here in Atlantic City.
I don't know. Look, it really worked here. I think the venue is iconic, but he did a good gate here before in a small trip down from Philadelphia. That means a lot. And I just feel like it was a really good decision. Got to shout out Everett, actually, and the team, because we went be a year. So it's a lot to keep going back. And I feel like now, when we go back, it's going to be twice as big. And I think it was a really smart move to come to the Boardwalk Hall. And I love the place, love the venue, love it. Visit Atlantic City, the Boardwalk Hall, Gary, Jim, the whole team. They've been sensational. Yeah. Of fame that he's had in 12 months.
I go to series games and things like that, and cool guy. I keep in contact with him. In the summer, cool. Me and him actually kind of cool. So I go to series games and things like that, and cool. Cool
what?
guy. I keep in contact with him. In the summer we're gonna try and help him out to get ready for the next season. So yeah, so I asked him to walk me out.
Couple more guys. Yep.
Go. And they go over the bridge if you're going to keep going like that. I'm saying, like, it's crazy. They go over the bridge. He run right into a rock, big boulder, and that's what he did. He all gas no brake. What car that? What car that guy goes go? And they go over the bridge.
What? Huh? Oh my God, man. Anyway, I'm not even gonna comment on that right now.
Keep going like that. So like, it's crazy.
What the hell are you talking about? Help him out, Bozy. Help him out, Bozy.
I just told him, I said, if you come like
please
that,
help him out.
You're gonna get stopped. That's what I told him. If you keep on coming forward, you're gonna get stopped. Well, he stopped on his own.
Bozy said he stopped on his own. That was funny.
They playing, man. These guys don't really want to fight Boots. Brian Norman don't either.
Yeah, it is. Now, pay attention to what Bozy just said. Because look, trash talk is trash talk. It's going to happen one way or the other. That's all. Trash talk is trash talk. It's coming from both sides. But my whole point is, sometime in the trash talk, you know how a piece of lint gets stuck on your tongue, and you still trying to talk. You trying to get that shit off your tongue, or whatever shit. I mean, the integrity is somehow wasted. The integrity is non-existent.
And these guys don't really want to fight Boots. Brian Norman don't either. No, none of them. No difficult, nothing difficult for him.
Yep. You have a question? Oh no, you're there. Yep.
Brian Norman's father on IG said that.
So he's about to talk about what Brian Norman's father has said. That I heard that the audio is fairly low, but you can I pretty much elaborate on it after it comes out.
Brian hits Boots got hit tonight. He was going night and he responds.
Boots got hit.
Brian Norman's father.
When he said that,
Yo, Brian Norman not good.
they just just building themselves up off of Boots,
Not
man.
good, yo.
You know what happened when he came to the gym? You know what I mean? So we don't
They,
ain't
they,
worry
do,
about
they,
them.
not, they ain't do nothing but talk.
All they doing is talking.
Social
running their
media,
mouth.
they on a social media tour right now. They talking, they trying to build their name up off me.
They've been doing it. That's what they've been doing.
They not really about it. If any of y'all in here made 100,000 y'all last fight and y'all got offered $2 million to fight me, what y'all doing?
So this is the one time that Boots has been clear in his words, and he has been direct. He even pointed his finger. He said he made 100,000, and they was offered 2 million. You heard him say it, right? That came out of Ennis's mouth. They was offered 2 million. 2 million, because Ennis say he sent out the offers to Norman, Stanthionis, and Barrios. That's what he said. He also made mention that he's not that good. That's trash talk. And Bozy say, you know what happened? That's trash talk. The sparring wars is a sparring wars. Real talk. It's going to go down the way it go down. But Ennis said he's not that good, but yet they're fighting Gitsoff next. They didn't say no plans of fighting Norman Jr. Eddie Hearns is saying, yeah, he would like to fight Barrios and Norman Jr., but you didn't hear Boots say anything about that. You really didn't hear him propose. But let's go back and listen one more time. This when Boots awakened. The only time in the presser where he actually perked up a little bit. But you know what I gotta say, and it's how dare you talk about somebody trying to do a press tour and clout chase your name. And bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. You ain't had no clout up to now, bro. You ain't had no clout there, Ennis. You was up there clout chasing Crawford. You up here talking about a press tour clout. Dude, your FICO score before this fight was 466. That was your boxing FICO, because you was up here telling people you was going to beat Karen in and out like a robbery. It didn't happen, bro. Karen is feeling real good about it, because he said, you know what? I wasn't a champion, but I went the distance twice, unlike Stanthionis. So Karen's at home, jumping through the streets, clicking his heels, saying, yeah, my stock went up. My stock went up. He's feeling good about himself. That's who you basically, have on your resume in your last 3 fights. But we all know, once you receive the IBF title, all it is before that, during that, and after that, y'all was clout chasing Crawford's name. So before you say anything about clout chasing, you need to reimburse Crawford for all the time that you was up there clout chasing his name. Talking about, oh man, every time you turn around, Crawford. I mean, goddamn, you would think you go over there in Philly, they had billboards with Crawford name up there. Should Crawford fight Boots? Should Crawford fight Boots? Hey, you let us know. Call this number right here, 555-555-5555, and hit extension 1055. And goddamn, hit # number 6 if you feel that Crawford should fight Boots. It was a full-scale Crawford clout chasing extravaganza in this bitch. And you're talking about somebody clout chasing your name. This is the only fight that you ever got clout, bro. This is it. You didn't get no clout off Avanesian. You didn't get no clout off freaking Karen. None of that.
You know what I mean? So we don't
They
worry about
they,
them.
not, they ain't do nothing but talk.
All they doing is talking.
Social
running their
media.
mouth.
They on a social media tour right now. They talking. They trying to build their name up off me.
They've been doing it. That's what they've been doing.
They not really about it. If any of y'all in here made 100,000 y'all last fight and y'all got offered $2 million to fight me, what y'all doing? What y'all doing? Y'all gonna fight me, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's ask this question. Since now you're throwing around numbers, let's answer this question. Who are you proposing that question to? Non-fighters? Of course, those individuals that's in front of you. If you offer them 100,000, that'll be more than what they probably have made in their life. You know, they sound like a hen, a chicken coop and shit, man. You know, I mean, of course they're gonna agree. Yeah. That's what I'll do. That I love the goddamn million. I've invested in this. You know, not like Floyd though, but I invested in this, and I'll turn my money over. It'll be great. I mean, come on, bro. You asking non-fighters who are media if you offered them something. 100% of those people that's sitting in front of you, be it 8, maybe I'm guessing 6 or 8 people, they wouldn't even be in the rankings to fight you. Well, they shouldn't be in the rankings, but we never know when it comes to Ennis stepping up. But you clout to Saturday, bro. Real talk. Y'all got to stop abusing clout, man.
Exactly. Yeah, that's closed in the story right there. Closed key.
Yeah.
So he says a closed case because they offered $2 million, and we know that's a lie. And the results are back, and that was a lie. I mean, y'all can't be running with an Ennis narrative without doing your research. He did not. It wasn't no $2 million on the freaking table. Maybe for Barrios. Maybe it got a little bit closer, just underneath 2 for Stanthionis. But we all know that it wasn't $2 million for Norman. When Eddie say almost, that's not confirmed. That's not for sure. Eddie is good with using those words that leaves an open air pocket. Just a little bit of air pocket in there from the truth. That's what he does. And he does it well. But to say someone was offered 1.7 and rounded up to 2 million, who does that shit? Who does that shit? And then the person who actually speaks that type of talk, you should hold them accountable right there on the spot. You can't say 1.7, we're gonna round it up. This not, oh man, hey, it's 7 cents, man. Round it up to a dime, man. I don't want to keep all those pennies. This is not the same talk. Round up to a dime, man. Give me a solid dime, man. I know you got a dime on you, man. Come on. Give me a dime, yo. This is not 13 to 15 cents. You gonna go from 1.7 to 2? Just based off talks? I thought that was the gap. They wanted you to pay the gap insurance. That means 1.7. We want this much more. Somewhat the same amount of money that was paid for you all to have Karen fight in Philly. So instead of you all, if you really want to look at the feathers and where they're coming from, you got to look at, you got to say to yourself, I can only imagine the fight that was supposed to be in Germany and Team Ennis, Eddie Hearns, them not doing enough to get the fight with Norman. You just wanted to say no. So now Ennis is saying, if we offered you this, well, no, you offered Karen the lion's share outside of meeting Team Norman Jr. to make that fight happen. You could have conceded just a little bit and say, I'll give you that. But no, you wanted to go over there to Karen, pay him extra money so the fight can be in Boots' hometown. So how does that work logically when it comes to Eddie Hearn saving money? Why did you make it so difficult just to pay the gap insurance on what Team Norman was asking for outside of 1.7. Eddie say it was north of $1 million. North of $1 million can start right just above $1 million. 1.3, 1.4, 1 north is up. So we don't know what north is. We don't have a clue.
Yes, that shows what he really about for.
But you see when
Exactly.
Brian Norman fought the last fight, he got caught on the chin. Look what happened. Imagine if Booth hit him on the chin. He going to sleep.
Come on, Bozy. Much respect to Bozy. But your boy Ennis got caught by Evanesian, a fighter that y'all was up here hoping. Y'all was over there clowning Crawford for fighting, and y'all ended up fighting him. Come on now. Y'all was up there talking about anesthesia. Y'all was up there clowning the name because y'all was on the damn Errol Spence bandwagon. I mean, y'all was riding them horses. Y'all went for Errol Spence to beat Crawford and all that. But before they stepped in the freaking ring, he fought Evanesian. Y'all was over here going full pledge on the Crawford goddamn hate train. And y'all end up fighting him. And he was giving you all the blues for a minute. He was giving you all the blues, yo. He was landing shots on boots that shouldn't even be landed. Well, I guess people blind to that. They say, hey, that was back then. That was back then. That was back then. Don't bring that shit up no more.
Your other welterweight has a big fight coming up at middleweight, but says he has title aspirations at 147. I'm talking about Conor Ben. Any chance that we'd ever?
I'm definitely not talking about Conor Ben. I'm gonna get up out of here. Now I want you to listen to Brian Norman Sr. Based off that $2 million that Boots has said that, they offered him. Boots said they offered Norman Jr. $2 million. When we all know, those of us that was following, we all know what? We know that it wasn't $2 million. That's why the fight fell apart. But instead of paying the back end of that to make it $2 million or $2 million plus, they would rather pay Karen to fight in Boots' hometown to satisfy and appease him rather than paying for a unification bout, which they probably felt, nah, we ain't really trying to see that right now. We really don't want that smoke right now. That's one more step in the welterweight division for us to see two of the top guys of the division. At that point in time, they were saying Boots was the king, and then Team Norman Jr. started saying, no, you can't say that. Don't disrespect us. Talking about he ain't the king until he fight us. We trying to establish who the king of the welterweight division. But check this out and what he said on the Boxing Voice about that $2 million.
Crawford knocked him out. He paid him $3.3 million for that. You want to bring a champion who's already doing his own thing. He already has his own flow. He already has everything going for him. You can't. None of the champions will come to Philadelphia and deal with that adversity for $1 million. Simple as that. I was very transparent from the start, and this is gonna prove to everybody that Eddie is lying. The very first interview he did, and every interview he did, he said the first offer was well north of $1 million. Well north of $1 million. That put it at least what, 1.234? All right. The first offer was $750,000.
Excuse me. Did you say Eddie said north, but it was really south? Is that where we at? Eddie once again fluffing the numbers with lies and malicious intent. Eddie said it was north when it was actually south. It didn't even breach $1 million. Is that what we just heard? Let me go back on.
1.234. Well north of $1 million. That put it at least what, 1.234? All right. The first offer was $750,000. That was the first offer. All right. We said in the end, I told Bozy, I want my son to come home. I ain't tell Bozy this part. We said $2 million because I wanted my son to come home with $1.2 million. That's what we needed in the end. I wanted my son to at least clear $1 million.
What's wrong with that? For all you pocket watchers, baton carriers, What's wrong with a fighter coming home with $1 point some million for a championship fight? What's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this is a prize fighting sport, right? You don't supposed to negotiate. You don't supposed to increase your value. How difficult would it have been to pay the gap insurance on that shit? It wouldn't have been difficult at all. But really, it shows that Team Ennis didn't want to fight.
All right. $1 million puts you in a different tax bracket. The IRS gonna want 40% of that. Now, of course, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing or whatever. But if you're making a couple of $100,000, it's not like that. So let's say if I could do a job, I don't need all of this. Like he said, $700,000-$800,000 sitting in the bank doing nothing when I can make $200,000 here, $300,000 there, and not be in that same tax bracket. You know what I mean? People not thinking from a business standpoint. They just stand for, oh man, that's more than he made. So what? My son not hurt. My son not broke. He not out here struggling. You know what I mean? It's not like that. Bottom line is, he said that we started at well north. Then he said we added $250,000 2 times. If I ain't mistaken, that put it at $2 million. If you do the math, am I incorrect?
I mean, it's got to be somewhere. I thought higher because he said well north of $1 million.
That's the lie, and those are the games he's playing. That's what I'm trying to say. You say
that could be that could be anything. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So now, and I'm trying to break this because I want to put a break in my voice so you can understand what I'm saying. All right, so check it out. Well north. So that sounds like if you telling me you keep adding on $250,000, we should be at $2 million or somewhere close. We was not there. The actual number that we are right now today, and we are still optimistic, I am still hopeful, is $500,000. That's it. That's only so my son can bring home $1 million, really. 1.2 million, $1 million. That's it. That's all we are. So the last interview, he said, now they're saying we're miles away. Eddie is playing games. He said, we're close. And now they're saying we're miles away. You won't find, y'all know I've been very transparent. You won't find nothing where I say we're miles away ever. I never said that. We really want this fight. We really can show the world, because there's several battles that's going to be won before we win the war of this. There's several battles where Boots Ennis will fight him in his hometown, fight him. I see through the smoke and mirrors. It's smoke and mirrors over there.
Let's talk about the hometown. Now, don't you think it's reasonable to ask for that 5, being that we can assume what they had to pay out to Karen, not for that fight to be in Germany, to be in Boots' backyard? Can you imagine all the extra business details that had to take place with appeasing Karen to fight in Boots' backyard again, when he could have very well fought over there? Could you imagine? I mean, I bet they probably paid just what they could have paid Norman Jr. them to fight. But we'll never know. But let's talk about this backyard. When the A was brought up in the post-fight presser, you heard giggles and stuff because Eddie Hearn saying when he just on somebody's freaking undercard, right? So what it does is Boots is building up Philly. He's fought there several times. No knock on him for fighting, in Philly and building up his freaking name. You know what I'm saying? His status in his home backyard. Cool. But those performances did nothing for Boots, bro. Only the one last night at Atlantic Boardwalk did what they supposed to. But his 2 fights with the fight with Karen and Avanesian did nothing for his appraising value in his backyard. Now, when they mention the A and Eddie Hearn's talking about undercard, Atlanta, we already know the A. If that fight will come down here, of course it'll be big. They can't just talk about and act like it's separation now. I'm saying this separation between Norman Jr. and Ennis. You can't play that role. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you cannot do that. You can't play the role like it's separation and you have somebody that's on top of the mountain and somebody's at the base. And they're waiting for the guy on the top of the mountain to throw them a rope. That's not even the case right here. It's not even freaking close. that fight between Norman and Boots will basically broaden, will pretty much broaden Boots's name and awareness and his notoriety, just like it would expand Brian Norman's notoriety down here. It would be a nice, but every time you mention the A, people want to shit on the A for boxing, but yet we have so much other entertainment going on down here in the A. But they want to shit on the fight being down here when they will actually do great numbers down here. 2 black fighters coming down to what they call Black Hollywood. I mean, it'll do great, but they want to laugh it off. But yet, you want all your fights to be in your backyard. Getting back to the money aspect of it. If a fighter's coming in your backyard, an American fighter at that, they coming in your backyard, they shouldn't negotiate. They absolutely should. They should maximize the shit out of negotiating. They're going to somebody else's backyard. And what the senior say next? He's pretty much putting it out there. Like, we still want the fight. He never once said they didn't want it. They looking elsewhere. They still want the fight. At this post-fight presser, what is Eddie doing? Eddie is shitting on making the fight with Brian Norman like it's Deontay Wilder all over again. I'm serious. This is the same shit we heard when it was Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. He wants to basically prove to the people that he's going to continue to poke holes into the toughest fight for him at 147 pounds. He's going to continue to try to downplay it, minimize the value of it, because he's fucking himself over too. If by chance Boots continue with Eddie Hearn, it's going to come to a point where people are going to start recognizing if Eddie Hearn is trying to lowball and treat this shit like Wilder and Joshua back in the day. Because they should have had an undisputed fight, but yet Eddie Hearn is trying to give Deontay Wilder a flat fee several times. Now you're at a point where Hearn's just looking at this. How can I keep Boots and make the most money off Boots? How can I get him to stay here at Matchroom? First of all, I need to basically downplay or reduce the value of any other fighter that may give him a tough test at 147 pounds. I need to shit on everybody else. Now, in the process of shitting on you, have to understand this, Eddie, that you're a fighter that you're trying to be in the good graces of. His quest is to unify the 147 pounds. So if you want to say that Norman Jr. is on the undercard, you're going to have to revisit this shit later on when you and your fighter, he's put out to the people, you and your fighter selects to have an undisputed bout at 147. The same fighter that you say was on the undercard, you're going to have to come back and negotiate. The people are not going to want to hear the same shit they had when Crawford and Spence was negotiating in 2022. Why? Because we're talking about 2 older cats that got on the phone and talked to each other. I don't think Boots has it with him to get on the phone and have a decent conversation with the father or the son. I don't think this is it. This fight may not even happen. But if you're talking about taking the same route and shitting on a champion, because they're not gonna say anything about Barrios, because Barrios out of sight, out of mind. But the one that everybody wants to see in Norman Jr., right? Eddie Hearns want to shit on him. But yet you're gonna have to return and talk some numbers over with him. If Boots is adamant about us, the fighters, it's up to us. So guess what, Boots? I'm gonna hold you to that shit. I'm gonna hold you to us. Us is gonna have to make you and Brian Norman. All this shitting on and talking about you clout chasing, you did it to Crawford, and you still didn't get the fight. Now let's see how you gonna get undisputed at 147. Are you going to get on the phone and have a decent conversation about business? Or are you going to keep on doing the same shit that Errol Spence fans was doing leading up to the fight with Crawford? You see how that worked out, didn't you? You see how that worked out, right? Man, we done been through that shit already at 47. We ain't trying to replay the damn itinerary. Ain't nobody waiting 5 years. You can't stay at 147 another 2 years, really. You don't even have another 2 years at 147. So if it's on your freaking itinerary, let's not hope that you're thinking, okay, maybe he'll lose that title ahead of time, so I won't have to face him. Bro, you are big for the division. It's only so many times you're going to be able to cut weight. It don't matter you came in at 146. You're about to fight another fighter and prolong another unification with either Barrios or Norman Jr. Let me see. Let me go up here and check this out before I even speak on it. Ennis is about to be 28 years old in June 26th. So dude, you pushing 30. You pushing 30. So you're about to be 28 years of age. You're about to fight Gearsoft next. And then you're going to be 29 years of age whenever you get around possibly to fighting another name, unless Barrios fights somebody else, unless he fight a Conor Ben or somehow, some way, team, Norman Jr. gets to fight. Well, we're talking about 2027. You might very well be 29 years of age, still trying to make 147 pounds. Bro, you're not understanding? Y'all shitting on a fighter that you need. The same shit we witnessed with Crawford is the same actual snapshot that we have playing out again. That tells me that the fight fans did not learn their lesson from waiting 5 years, talking all that shit just to see Errol go in there and get beat up. I don't know why y'all just basically checking the box off one opponent. It takes me back once again to Sean Porter. When Errol Spence was criticized and they say, hey, we really don't know, Kell Brook, they up here, everybody's turning their back on Roy Jones, a great. Talking about, he shouldn't have said that about Spence. All he said was he wanted to see him in there with a notable fighter, with a big name fighter, to see how he handled it. And that came with Sean Porter. That was kind of Errol Spence's breakout fight, unifying the division with Sean Porter, who's a 2-time welterweight world champion. So he squeaked that out, but that was his coming out fight because he ended up picking up the WBC title. Last night was Jerron Ennis coming out fight. But like I said before, you want to compare the Santillan fight to Stanthionis, the Santillan fight was way better. The reason why it was better, once again, Boots is comfortable with fighting close to home, and Stanthionis had to come over there. Norman had to go into that man's backyard, hostile territory, and fight that man who was game to fight back. Stanthionis, he was in there. He was up there fumbling question marks, dog. Should I? He was up there making mixtapes. Should I? Can I? I mean, he was up there second guessing himself. And look, it can be whatever. It can be like, okay, he's faster than I thought and all that. I mean, hey, he got the whooping that he was looking for. But when it comes to Santillan, last time I checked, Santillan was he was looking a little different. The damage was way worse. And the EMT was right there. Hey, hurry up. It was bad. And the last time I checked, Norman Jr. squatted down for a freaking memorable snapshot with Santillan land on his face. We didn't see that with freaking Stanthionis. Yes, he stopped him in earlier fashion, but Stanthionis was on the knee. I mean, when y'all talking about so-and-so knocking out, Albanesian was on the stool, and they act like they didn't understand English. Eddie Hearns had to send his personal doctor in there. Oh, it seems like he's saying that he doesn't want to continue. And then Stantionis took a knee, his corner threw in the towel. It's not, I mean, that's a TKO, but I'm just saying it's two different fights. Boots had an exciting performance yesterday, but the Santillan fight, in my opinion, was much more exciting to me when it comes to the suspense and climactic moment that people was looking for. Two different style fighters in Ennis and Norman Jr. But to be honest, I don't know if this fight's ever going to happen.
And I'm going to break the fucking mirror. I already know what's going on. I see what they did. They pulled a fucking real live hat trick in front of the whole fucking boxing world, including myself. Because when I went back and I watched Boots and I watched his fights, even with my son, I watched him in front of everybody. I was like, this is the fucking hat trick. It's a hat trick and I already know how to fix it. It's a hat trick and I know how to solve the hat trick because I know how to pull the fucking the sheet from up under the motherfucker. So, I mean, we ready for that. I want that. But at the same time, I want my son to be well compensated for going to enemy territory. He's a young fighter. He had his own career. He can build his own name. Boots wasn't where my son was 4 years ago. At 20, my son is 23. Boots is 27. Boots wasn't a world champion at 23. You got people that are just so mad because we dare said we'll fight him. Now they're saying y'all duck him. Y'all won't fight him. No, we will fight him. If anything, if Eddie Hearn is serious about that offer, we'll take the last offer he gave. I'm glad I got this platform right now. We'll take the last offer he gave if he makes it in Vegas. You can't bring people to enemy territory and then pay them nothing and then pay your fighter $5 million. Because if he got paid 3.3 for Avenesian, what is he going to get paid? You know, what is he going to get paid for Brian Norman Jr.? A unification bout. That's enormous.
Is that a fact? I seem like common sense to me. When it comes to the business of it seemed like common sense to me, goddammit. Neutral territory, yeah, we'll take the 1.7. I mean, it common sense, bro. That makes sense. But yet you want somebody to come in the backyard, home cooking, come to enemy territory once again and appease everything. Come on, bro. Like, man, it doesn't make any sense. Like people is just overlooking the obstacles that no, not the obstacles. They're making it's pretty much consignments. You know what I'm saying? They're making consignments for the other fighters for no reason. There's no reason that Norman Jr. should make any consignments for Boots. Both of them are leveled right now in the 47-pound division. Like I said, and I'll say it again, a king only wears one crown. No matter how many belts you come into the final clash with, it's only one fight on that night, period. Nobody, I mean, yeah, it looks good walking to the ring with all your belts, but we've seen that already. We've seen it several times. Usyk came to the Undisputed with Fury and scooped up his belt. We've seen it happen. So please, boxing fans, do me a favor and stop talking about, he gonna scoop the belts and it's a sprint to get Barrios. And if he don't get Bar, and he the A side. We already know all that talk, man. Leave that freaking elementary grade school type of bullshit lingo down, man. We went through that shit with Spence and Crawford still won everything. He scooped up all the titles. So y'all really want to revisit the same shit and talk about money? You want to talk about money again? You want to talk about who gets Barrio first? Boots need to sign with PBC. Why? Why is that your concern? Shouldn't y'all be concerned about who can make the fight? Is Eddie Hearn going to just keep trying to make money with Boots in Philly instead of taking him outside that comfort zone? You think when you move up to 54, all your big fights is going to be in Philly? I don't mind the brother making his damn bread in his backyard. I don't mind that shit at all, man. I'm not talking about Boots not making money or Norman not making money. Man, they out there competing. They're the ones training. They're in the ring. But when you're up here trying to say a fighter shouldn't get this, when there's a lot of payouts that you're not mentioning, you don't give a damn about because you at home, then there's concern. There's a big concern. But he said, you give me the same and we'll fight in Vegas. You know what that remind me of? Deontay Wilder. When he said, hey, Joshua, you get the 50 million, but it's two fine details. The fight has to happen this year in Vegas, and there's no rematch clause. You think somebody's going to give you what you're asking for without any type of, you know what I'm saying, special rules in there? Any consignments? Come on, bro.
You can't bring it. We're not slaves. We're not peanuts. Again, like I said yesterday, we understand to do the king and queen shit over there on their end, but we're not their parents. I don't know what this shit is about. My son can make 200, 300, 300, and fight 2-3 times a year. And guess what? He really just brought home more than he would have brought home with less tax problems, with less drama, with less, he don't have to deal with the crowd. Everything is in his favor. People not thinking the south side of the box. They're not thinking outside of the box. They're thinking, oh, 1.5. No, you're thinking from your broke ass couch. And I hate to be like that. You're thinking from your broke ass couch.
I know who you're talking to in the chat. You thinking from your broke ass couch. You know who you are. It's only one of you in the chat that's thinking from your broke ass couch. You know who you are.
Again, if I graduate from neurology school and I go to be a neurologist, and in my first fucking job, they tell me that they go $1,000. I'm like, no, what the fuck? They're like, well, motherfucker, you paid $50,000 on your last job. This pays way more than that. That's poor thinking. That's poor thinking. I can't let my son get played like that. $500,000. We're still optimistic about this fight, November the 9th. That's why I'm glad I got this platform.
Norman, to be clear, because you said that twice now, you mean 500,000 more
right now.
Yeah.
500,000 more.
You need 500,000 added to the 1.5. You want 2 million so that when it's all said and done.
The last offer was actually 1.7.
Okay.
We did the math. I don't know if Adrian was misspoke or what happened with that, but actually Top Rank takes 25 off top. That's what I was told. Max rank. So my bad. Again, that's another breakdown that we don't have to deal with. If my son makes $250,000, Matchroom won't get nothing because they're the promoter.
You mean
so? I'm not Matchroom. Top rank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Top Rank take 25 off top. But Top Rank don't get nothing because they're the promoter. So it's like you giving me money on. It's like you paying me. It's like that old breakdown of would you take $2 million as a whole, or would you take $300,000 a week or a month? You know what I mean?
See, the wild part about this too, with Norman Jr. and Boots, is that they're both going to be signed with promoters, so the payout is going to happen one way or the other. But why wouldn't savvy human beings, be aware of this same type of language when it comes to the business? If you really want to, be the one who speak all this talk about purses and payouts and what a fighter should do, then you should also be able to put it together in deductive reasoning and formulate a conclusion as to why the decision was made, on why they said what they said. Senior say, hey, we wanted an extra 5 on top of the 1.7 because we have to pay out. And when everything is said and done, they team want to break $1 million. I mean, what's wrong with that? Who wouldn't want at that young age to come home with $1 million take home after taxes? Everybody's paid and all that shit. I got $1 million sitting in the back. Man, come on, bro. Y'all being selfish at the end of the day, just like y'all was doing with Crawford, talking about he should just take what they give him. But the one thing about this, neither one of these fighters are going to be free agents. Crawford was a free agent. Spence was still locked in. So we don't have the same leeway, the same rope, so to speak, in these two. These two are going to be locked in with promotions, man.
I mean, it's the whole breakdown of that. But people, people so, I hate to look down on people so fucking broke thinking that they think, oh man, you need to do. Don't tell me what the fuck we need to do. My son ain't never struggled in his life. My son does not struggle. He's never struggled. He got me as a fucking dad. I ain't struggled since I was 21 years old. We not poor, bro. We not around here looking for no motherfucking scrapes and scrapes. No, that's your poor mind of thinking. Don't try to put that shit on us. Don't tell us what the fuck we need to take and what we need to be doing. No, we found, like he said, all the tax liabilities will be on $1 million that we would have to do. I want my son to at least be well compensated for going on those enemy territories. Bottom line, the breaking news to take from this is Jerron Boots Ennis will never be undisputed champion at 147 because he has a promoter that doesn't want to play ball. If he wants to play ball, he needs to put this shit on neutral territory. Then we can talk some real numbers.
That's not far from the truth, man. If you look at it, like I always mention the Eddie Hearns And Wilder Joshua situation, that triangle that just burned to the ground and never materialized. Never. And both of them have losses now. Both of them have lost their straps. But man, at the time, that would have been an absolute incredible fight to see for Undisputed. But Eddie Hearns has been on a losing streak. Now he hears the people chiming in about Boots' performance. And I think he's probably going to be on his knees, breakdancing and really top rocking B-boy. He's going to be trying to do backhand, back flips, no hands. He's going to try to do everything to try to keep Boots over there. If Boots ain't already tied in from winning the championship. Because all I was hearing is this bullshit. Him going across the road. It kind of gave me that Spence Crawford type of vibe again. But what are y'all looking for to happen if they go across the road? This is not the same shit that y'all was talking about with Crawford and Top Rank. I'm just a whole lot disappointed that some of you all are trying to rewrite the same boring ass piston script that the conclusion, all that shit y'all was talking, the conclusion was flushed down the toilet. Even after he left Top Rank and still made the fight, y'all wasn't satisfied. Now you have two fighters that it seems like it's a much easier transition, a much easier road to make this fight happen. I think y'all would be much more excited. But yet, Ennis is up there talking that same bullshit talk. Trying to talk about Clout. Nobody wants to hear about that shit. Dude, if you the man and Norman thinks he the man, why don't y'all fight? We already done went through this shit, man. Who has more clout? Who's the better fighter? We've seen this at 47. I don't want to hear this shit again. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to hear this clout chasing because you clout chased the shit out of Crawford. They was going to come after you for tax evasion for all the goddamn clout you took from Crawford and then pay your taxes. You cannot sit up here of anybody in the boxing community and speak about clout chasing. Because how can it be clout chasing and you had no clout? I salute you for your performance, but you had no clout. You still don't have clout, bro. You have a moment, but we're looking forward to the next. There's unfinished business on your quest at 147 pounds. The unfinished business the boxing fans want to see. But guess what? Boxing fans, you can't be sitting up here entertaining that bullshit either. You can't go back down the same road, around the corner, down the hill, up the tree, and start talking about that Spence Crawford shit. Oh, man, he don't deserve no Barrios, man. And it's so fucking what? If he gets to the damn WBC title before Norman, cool. They have to fight on the same fucking night to unify the entire division. Am I right or wrong? They have to go and unify in one single fight. So what it seems like to me, y'all, is Eddie Hearns is trying to make and exploit the Philly community with having these Philly fights for Boots because it fills his pockets. What about expanding Boots' brand outside of Philly? He's not even thinking about that. He had to bring Bam Rodriguez over here last fight with Karen. Didn't I tell you all Bam wasn't going to be there again? Did you see Bam Rodriguez on this card? No, you did not, because Bam Rodriguez is a much bigger name, in my opinion, than Ennis. Bam Rodriguez is a bigger name, but Eddie Hearn inserted Bam in there as a co-op to basically inject some life into that fight card. But him trying to have all Boots cards in Philly is going to hurt Boots. Nobody else, bro. I'm being honest. It's going to hurt him. If Norman is going in other people's hometown and putting on performances like he did with Santillions and Cuevas, more people in other areas are going to know who he is. You understand? So the people that saying nobody know, just think about what you're saying. You're talking about a fighter who had the first standout performance of his life, and people are talking about it over there close to Philly. But when is he going to fight somewhere else, away from home, in somebody's backyard? Now all of a sudden you're going to say it's the A side and he can fight where he want? He's not always going to be the A side. That's not the case. If you want the fights, you want the fights, right? Crawford fought Madrimov in LA. That's far from Omaha. That's far from freaking Madrimov's country. So, hey, all I'm saying, y'all pay attention to this while it lasts. That's all I'm saying. Y'all pay attention to it while it lasts, because to me, it's a lot of telltale signs that's going to crash and burn, because Eddie is filling his pockets. He's set to earn more money with those fights being in Philly. And see, the dumb part about it is that he's feeding this to Boots like, hey, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry. I'm the mouthpiece, and I'll continue to say, hey, Boots did 2.5 million pay-per-views. You know, Eddie Hearn's going to go here and exacerbate the numbers anyway. That's what he does. So you can continue to have fights in Philly all day long. But let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves, man. To build or expand who you are as a fighter. That's not going to do anything for you. Still need, you know, the only time he actually had something of clarity to say was to speak about Norman them not taking 2 million, which was a lie, right? Because the 2 million was never on the table. That just goes to show you, if you focus on what you're saying, Ennis, people can understand you. But you busy up there on your phone, you mumbling, and you talking shit that people just like, damn, do I need to put the bouncy ball, the closed caption up here? Like, how are you going to grow your brand for you and Brian Norman have the biggest fight, one of the biggest grossing fights between each other, if you up here talking that antiquated freaking talk? That antiquated talk once again has risen. They want to talk about money, money, money. I'm this, I'm that. But you have a fighter, which both of y'all can make your highest payday, but yet you so stuck in that Philly fog that you want to talk the old school shit. You want to talk the language that we need to get out of as boxing fans. Boxing fans are the consumers. You don't pay us, the consumers, any mind. You're busy on your phone. So how are you going to expand your brand just based off performances? It don't make any sense, bro. You're not even thinking of the bigger picture, or you may not be capable of thinking about the bigger picture. If that many people are texting you while you're up there in front of media, I'm going to tell you this. At this point in time, media is not across the board AI. So you have human beings that's sitting out there way past their bedtime for you. I can promise you, from being in that position, it's not going to be those same individuals that's showing up to your presser if they just want to hear Eddie Hearns talk. They want to hear what you have to say, and they don't want to hear you perk up just because you're trying to say, oh, no, they clout chasing. No, man, don't nobody want to hear that shit, bro. Do that on social media. That's all I'm saying. Just do that shit on social media. That's really what you're responding to, social media talk. You should be trying to engage your fans and talking about, I'll take on anybody. I'll take on all of them. Go back to being on your phone. That shit's wild, yo. Anybody who co-signing that shit, you know, your kids probably up here, you know, in middle school, still with a passy in their mouth, sucking on a pacifier, sucking on their motherfucking thumb. There's no way in hell that you can co-sign that shit, man. How are you supposed to build? How are we coming off? I would say, let's just assume that Crawford and Spence got paid 20 apiece, right? If you in your late 20s, Boots being the oldest, then Norman like 22, right? Why shouldn't it not be a priority for you all to attempt to get those grand numbers? Not so much close to 20 million apiece, but just get to a point where you all can make the highest payday of your career. But from what I see is you have so many people up here talking about, well, he turned down, he would have got 17 times more than he ever made. Man, that shit is frustrating to hear, man. I thought we evolved from the Ennis Crawford. From the Spence Crawford era. I did. I thought based off everything that we experienced leading up to that fight, the pressure that they had, that he ain't fought nobody, he ain't did shit. Spence can beat everybody on his resume. And to see Crawford go over there and have such an easy performance against a pound for pound fighter, I would think educational wise, based off history, I just thought we would have evolved a little bit as fight fans. But to be honest with you, I don't think we did. I think boxing fans, they have so many media segues to go to, whether individuals that are hosting the panel are on the same bullshit. Not all of them, but some of them, a lot of them, on the same bullshit as pushing narratives. So we get clueless boxing fans who may not have been following the sport that long. They go over here and listen to this agitprop, and then they start spreading the shit around. I thought for sure we was past this. Now we got the same shit coming, with Ennis about money. We got Eddie Hearn at the end. He should sign with Matchroom. He should sign with Matchroom. Y'all ass was just complaining about Boots fighting Karen twice. But now all of a sudden, the same fucking talk that y'all was saying about Crawford. You saying that Ennis should go to PBC. Y'all want him to be Errol Spence so motherfucking bad. Y'all want him to be the face of the PBC so bad, yo. And look, this demand is only from black fighters coming from black fighters. It's like he need to stamp his black card in boxing by going over to PBC. I don't get it. It's almost like they want him to go over to PBC to get the Barrios fight and then say, okay, he can put PBC back on the map. He can be their star pupil. Now we can go back to having in-house fights. Which one do you want? You want to try to unite the American boxing promotions over here to make better fights, or you still just hand selecting one single fighter that you want to see shine and say, oh, this is what we need right here. This is exactly what we need. We need these type of fights right here. We need to see Boots on the PBC banner. But he just had his step out fight and he wasn't under the PBC banner. Initially, y'all was saying you want to see him sign with Matchroom. This man has not made solid business choices in the past, which pretty much stagnated his career. That may be a reason why he's undeveloped when it comes to the boxing business. That may be it. I don't know. I really don't know, because it takes more in between fights to collectively draw in sponsors. They want people who can complete a full sentence, talk to the people. And I don't think he's that guy right now. It's not saying he can't get there, because when he was up here talking about, Norman them got 2 million, he was clear, concise, straight to the point, very articulate. But when it comes to just addressing the fans, yeah, I want all the fighters. Yeah, I want all the fighters. Yeah, I want the fighters. Yeah, I want. They can't touch me. Yeah, I want the fighters. You notice he ain't said in and out like a robbery since I've been saying we don't want to hear that shit no more, right? You can't say it's in and out like a robbery. This should have been a fight. He said it, but he didn't say it. Thank God. In and out like a robbery. Yeah, in and out like a robbery. A robbery don't take 12 rounds. It ain't a robbery no more, man. You shopping. It turns into a goddamn shopping spree then. It ain't in and out like a robbery. But that's my take on that, man. Let's get back to the audio.
Otherwise, you got to pay people to come out there. Because to me, I think 1 point whatever million is a low end, even though on even ground because of the fight it is. But it is what it is. We ready. We ready still to this day. We ready.
Well, I appreciate the transparency and the breakdown of all the numbers and obviously letting Eddie know here on this platform what you needed
Right now.
more to get it done.
He didn't want to get it done.
Hopefully, yeah, but I mean, hopefully hearing this, you know, you guys can get there. I mean, like you said, it's only 500 more. I mean, we say only, but we don't know what their budget is either, you know?
Okay, well, I tell you what, it's just like with Errol Spence. With Errol Spence, what he did, if Boost made 3.3 million, that means he's gonna make at least 5 for this one, because you gotta think he ain't gonna go, bullshit. So it's a unification bout. He's gonna make at least 5 for this. So if it's so serious and Boost wants this job and he wants to be undisputed, I'm telling you, Boost Ennis, I'm telling you, Bozy, y'all are not gonna get a chance at nothing because he ain't trying to pay. So y'all need to do what Errol Spence did and say, hey man, get that man what you want, even if you gotta take it off of mine. You need to pay for what you want. Give him 500. Give that 500,000 over to the other end and let us get that then. Let us make that fight. $500,000 off. That's it. That wasn't far. That's what I said from the start. I ain't never said we was miles away. Stop your fucking bullshit, Eddie. You never started at north of $1 million. You started at $750,000. No champion is going to know. We can make our own career. We can build our own brand. We look, we're 4 years behind Boots. We can do our own thing. You feel what I'm saying? Look at it. We have the ability to be on the same platform he on at 23. Boost never had Boost never slept nobody. Never slept nobody.
Never.
I see people all in the comments. Oh man, he gonna sleep no man. He gonna hurt him bad. You go look at this. Thomas DeLorme, man. I hate to throw salt, but I'm being real. He go to smoke and mirrors. Thomas DeLorme, motherfucker had 5 losses. He hit the nigga behind the head. Over with. Cussio Clay, the motherfucker sat there and did absolutely nothing. Hit him behind the head. It was over with. Those were the only 2 niggas I seen him knock out, really. Then they stopped the fight. He ain't slept nobody. The rest of them was dead fucking bodies, walking right at him, flat-footed fighting, smoke and fucking mirrors. I've never watched him, and I hate to be doing this, but I got to keep it real. I've never watched him. I was always a fan of Jerron Ennis. I've never watched him as an opponent. So I said, when this fight first started, I watched him as an
He never watched him as an opponent, just watched him as a fan. Because your thought process is different when you're not watching him as an opponent.
It was easier to break down than Giovanni Santillon and Quentin Roundel because the opponents wasn't doing shit. With Quentin Roundel and with Giovanni Santillon, these opponents were trying to beat these guys. Boost opponents was not trying to win. Go look at any fucking fight you want. Go look at it. It's smoke and mirrors. Go look at it. Each fighter, flat-footed, is tailor-made, was put right in your face. And when you got the announcers telling you how amazing he is, he's a very talented fighter. But one thing he don't have is true power. One thing, and these are the battles that's going to be won in that fight. He ain't going to stand in the motherfucking kitchen and he ain't going to cook with my son. My son going to burn his ass up out of there. That's one battle that's going to get won. I watched him. They got a common opponent, Damian Fernandez. Boost was 23 years old. My son was 20. Boost took 3 rounds and played with this motherfucker, did some matrix shit, and that's some of the shit that y'all say amazing. My son went in there and wiped this nigga out in a minute and 31 seconds. And that's including 3 knockdowns. You can go look that up. A lightweight, Lemos, came right after Boost did that and knocked him out in 1 round. So if a lightweight can knock this man out in 1 round, or Boost takes 3 rounds, what do you take from that? Boost does not have real power. We want that fucking work, and we want it now. We want that work.
They want it now. To all the strays in the chat, they want the work. Even though this is old audio, you know what I'm saying? Before both of these guys fought recently, they still stand on they want the work. The South is speaking out. You heard it. The South is speaking out. They want the work.
My son to get his opportunity. Eddie, come up with this $500,000. Get this motherfucking work. We really want this shit now. I'm real about this shit. We go in the fucking enemy territory. We go behind enemy lines, but you ain't finna fucking pimp us.
No pimping, Eddie. No pimp zone. No pimp zone, Eddie. You ain't pimping the South. You know, people find it so easy to talk about what ain't happening down here in the A as far as boxing. But y'all act like we never had boxing down here before. I mean, we love boxing down here. It's just now all of a sudden, when you say, hey, why don't y'all come down to the A? Why? Why should we come down there? Okay. When you get to that point, when you have to leave Philly and you're gonna be uncomfortable and you ain't kicking your feet up and having all those freaking hometown freaking benefits, which once again, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But what's gonna happen when you leave and you have to go in somebody else's backyard and you don't have those luxuries? I mean, you're gonna be looking out into the crowd and you ain't gonna see those familiar faces. That's another thing, Boots. You love looking out into the crowd for people that you know. When you go in enemy territory and those people ain't cheering you like that, and you're gonna have to just go off sheer internal strength and motivation. I don't know, man. You might not step up, bro. You might be a little bored, start losing focus. It might be some Oliver McCall, reflection in there for real.
Well, you ain't finna pimp us. We ready, bro. I'll be full transparent about
everything.
Everything I say is from the motherfucking heart, and I mean everything I've got. This ain't no ducking, ain't no nothing. We want the fucking smoke, and we want it now because all of them fans, all these people in the comments, you can't fight for Boots.
Can't
Boots
fight.
has never been tested in front of the lights. Boots has never been cut. Boots has never been down. Boots has never been booed. Boots has never been in a 50-50 fight. He's never been in an 80-40 fight. 80-20 fight. Everybody, he's been in an 80-20 fight, but that's about all he's been in.
Ooh, 80-20.
Everybody knew he was going to win.
And speaking of 80-20, I think that's was 80-20, 75-25. I think Stationis was 75-25, dog. Stationis was 75-25, goddamn. Just a 2.0 version of Baron check in that motherfucker, dog. I'm being honest with you, man. 75-25, man. That wasn't no 50-50 fight. That wasn't even a 60-40 fight, man. No. That wasn't even a 70-30 fight, man. That was 75-25, man, all day long, shout.
People, my son has been well.
Hey, shout out to the strays in the chat. I see you up here. Make sure you get all those crumbs I left you.
Tested. He's ready for this. This was a build up to this. Eddie Hearn, $500,000. Add that shit. You got yourself a fight. The funny thing, gotta watch boring ass Karen. We ain't gotta chase him around, and we finna cook Boots because he ain't gonna sit his ass in there. The first war we gonna win is when y'all see Boots running around that motherfucking ring and jumping around, flopping his arms and shit like that. That's the first war. That's the first battle that's gonna be won. And you watch what Brian Norman Sr. said while you watching the fight. Because if you stand in that fight, you his ass jumping right the fuck up out of that. Put on everything. You ain't.
Damn. The fire has been set. Fire engines en route. I see you haters in the chat. Shout out to the strays, man. You got to show them love too. They don't really have no family like that, man. They out here in unknown territory. Up there walking around in the chat saying shit that don't make sense. Come on, Boots will snap his jaw. Did he just snap Stationis? Huh? Did he just snap the owner's jaw? He did not. Did he snap Karen jaw? Okay. Did he snap Karen jaw in the first fight? No. Did he snap Avanesian? Did he? Real talk. Did he? Because look, if you want to do comparisons, I didn't see Stationis up there blinking his eyes. I didn't see him looking disorientated. I didn't see him confused. I didn't see him with impaired vision. He just had to take a knee because obviously he was taking some body work, some beautiful body work that was applied. But let's be absolutely honest with ourselves. I mean, that's adorable that you say snapping jaws. I see you've been watching a lot of religious movies back in the day. You think this is Samson or something? Huh? You think they fighting with jawbones or something? I mean, what are we talking about? Old Jurassic Park movies? Let me see what the haters got to say. But you want to talk about things that happen in boxing all the time. Man Rodriguez has been dropped several times. He still got up and won, didn't he? Okay. You need to make sure you correlate everybody into the fray, yo. Virgil Ortiz, he's been dropped several times. We saw Haney dropped. Got back up. We've seen several fighters dropped and made it back up to their feet. For real. Why are we still talking about a fighter being dropped? Because the conversation is, have they fought through adversity or not? I mean, do you like a fighter fighting out of adversity, fighting through adversity? Do you? Teofimo Lopez has been dropped before. I mean, it happens in the sport of boxing, doesn't it? So if you've seen it before, why are you trying to make it seem like it's a one-on-one? Speaking about the only fight you want to bring to the surface right now. Some of this shit I'm not gonna read because you didn't put it in a super chat. If you're not a regular over here, you're not gonna get that love from me like that just because you hating. Shout out to OG Golden on deck, man. Boots or Eddie didn't call out none of the last two champions last night. I know, man. It's a reason for Eddie. He want to fill his pockets in Philly. This is one of the perfect scenarios that he's trying to placate Boots in Philly to keep him signed to the promotion. It's called, what's that word I'm looking for? Kissing ass. He's trying to keep the only potential hopeful over there because he's been taking element P. He's been taking them L's. Eddie Hearn's been taking those L's, y'all. He's trying to hang on to his black hope. That's what he's trying to do. Eddie's trying to hang on to that black hope over there, man. Philly born. That's finally, reaching the surface for air. He's trying to hold on to him and get those fights in Philly and make that money off of them. That's what Eddie's trying to do. All of you are forgetting that Eddie and the IBL pulled that BS. That's one of the reasons that fight didn't happen. Hey, like I said, OG, they know what they're doing, man. They don't want the fight. They didn't mention anything. They mentioned Gilsoft or whatever his name, Gilsoft. They didn't mention no Norman Jr. They didn't mention Barrios. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to fight Barrios. You know why? Because they know they go over there talking that A side and all that little freaking that money issue to Barrios. They're gonna say kick rocks. Barrios ain't hurt. He's still champion. He's a 2-division champion. He got a better resume than all them cats. They ain't gonna try to pull that. That's why they ain't mention Barrios right now. That's why. They mentioning all these other. Now you're about to see a fighter that we just seen fight. Slow. A ruler with legs. He's gonna be right there trying to fight Boots in front of him with his hands down, and he's gonna get lit up probably the same way. I mean, we didn't see anything special with this guy. Hey, we don't need to know who's on this resume. We still talking the resume talk. Both of them have their standout fight. I think right now Norman has 2 and Boots has 1. Boots has Stantionis, of course, it's a championship fight, and then you got Cuevas and Santillan. I mean, hey, that's just the way it is, man. Boots still have that work to put in. We can't give him credit for no Avanesian. They were shitting on Avanesian. Avanesian was knocked out by Green Machine and Crawford. We can't give him credit for Avanesian based off how they shitted on Crawford for fighting this dude. He didn't even stop him. The doctor had to get involved. He gets no credit for that. No credit. No credit, yo. Nobody even mentioned them. Not even in the same weight class. Nobody mentioned them. You know how much more entertainment we got down here besides boxing? A lot. I mean, the OTX is popping off, but you bringing up 2 names. Imagine Philly fighters, though. Imagine stepping up in those shoes. You're gonna get some people that strung out on crack now and be trying to compare him to goddamn B-Hop. Oh, he's next B-Hop. We already seen that with Chris Colbert, thank you. And you see how quick he got buried. Hey, those of you strays in the chat that's talking about what's going down here in the ATL, where you from? How many boxing champions in history that you got? Where y'all from? Huh? Do I know you? And you came over here? Do I know you? Huh? Do I know you? I'm just saying, bro. I'm about to do, let me see. Shout out to the Queen Jessica in the building. What's good with you? A lot of you cats are just coming over here just for talk. You ain't really saying anything that's just conducive to the topic. You're just over here talking and saying things that's not going to really move the needle. At this point, you ain't trying to move the needle to make the fight. You happy with him fighting Gilsoft. You know it's an easy opponent again. We're talking about a person with 34 fights and only one stand out. 34 freaking professional fights and only one stands out. Will a real one please stand up? For real. That's what y'all should be focused on. Y'all should activate a private chat and try to come up with content to build up his unification of the 147 pound. All this collateral talk is non-pertaining, bro. It's extraneous information that no one wants to hear, yo. You know? No one wants to hear that shit. I'm glad you cats are coming over here from the alleys. I'm glad you coming over here and nipping on that goddamn arsenic I left out for you. I'm glad. I'm here wandering around in territory you're not familiar with. You know what I'm saying? Hey, haters got to eat too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to the ones that's talking about Norman giving them press play. Man, y'all giving this man freaking airplay over here with these comments. Like I said, the old me would have entertained y'all. But right now, y'all not even on my radar to even put your comment up there. I gotta fuck with the ones who are regulars, not the strays. Who was the last black fighter Boots fought? Man, good question. Solid question there, Golden. Let me go take a look. Since you proposed that question at OG, let me check. Cussio Clayton. And that was back in 2022. Cussio Clayton is what Senior was talking about, who went over there, and he reminded me of Joshua Greer Jr. Cussio Clayton walked down the ring with a pillow in his hand. And when Joshua did it, it was for his opponent. When Cussio Clayton did it, it was for himself. He came down there to take a nap. I'm not going to be here long. I'm just going to post up in this corner and lay down on my pillow. Thomas DeLomo. Thomas DeLomo coming off 2 losses. Hey, from what I see, OG, Jaron Ennis did his affirmative action. He fought 2 black fighters, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? He fought 2 black fighters back to back. Even though Thomas DeLome's shade of skin, he looked like a brother, but he's Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to give Jaron Ennis, I wanted to increase his quota a little bit. So it wouldn't seem like he only has one brother, Cussio Clayton, on the docket. We can't say Warner Brew. Hey, this might be one. Raymond Serrano. Does that sound like a black name to you? Let me see. Nah, amigo. No. That's No, that's not a brother. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And see, I appreciate that, OG, because you just brought up a very good point, right? That Jerron Ennis is guilty of not fighting his own kind except on social media. No wonder he don't want to fight Brian Norman for the South. He don't want no parts of fighting another brother. He has so many other names from other countries, other shades and ethnicities. Now it's starting to make sense on another level. This dude doesn't want to fight another black fighter. Because I guess he's saying Norman Jr. is going to be quite different than Custio Clayton. He ain't going to go in there and lay down and go out in 2 rounds. Damn, this brother, you would think this was the Jim Crow era looking at Jerron and his freaking resume. Ain't no blacks around this motherfucker, man. You would think this is a goddamn segregation up in this bitch, man. God damn. It ain't one civil rights activist on this resume? Good Lord. And good point. This man has damn near 1 black fighter on his resume out of 34. 1? Man, he should be charged for that shit. I ain't gonna lie. That's prejudice right there. That's prejudice. You should have never told me that. I just gave Jerron Ennis a 687 FICO. And now to find out that he don't fuck with the brothers. No wonder he ain't trying to fight Norman them from the South. Because he know the history down here when it comes to freaking civil rights and all that. He don't want to get exposed. And guess what? He just got exposed, man. He don't have no brothers on his resume except Custio Clayton, bro. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I bet they ain't talking about that. It's no different than him talking about Crawford every interview. Crawford. Hey, you would think Crawford was from Philly as much as they talk about him rather than Boots. Real talk. I'm just being honest. You would think Crawford wasn't from Omaha. Hey, y'all need to check around. Crawford might have taken up residence over there. Real talk. Because it seemed like the Philly fans, they more so want to talk about Crawford, who live miles and miles away, rather than talking about Boots. If you really want to be clear, and you want to talk about ass kissing, clout chasing, now that, my friends, is what they doing over there. You can't talk about anything except Crawford over there in Philly when y'all should be paying attention to Boots. Period. Hey man, he should be happy that they mentioned his name in the convo. He should be happy. Stop hating. Who else talk about him when he's not up for a fight? He should be happy they mentioned his name because they want to fight. He should be happy, yo. Don't nobody else talk about him. I mean, y'all should be paying that man compensation, man, for mentioning Boots' name, bro. A fight is not going to happen because, first of all, we now found out Golden has just made it perfectly clear and aware to the PG. I mean, the GP. And to the GP, he only has Custio Clayton on his record as a black fighter. That makes all the sense in the world that he ain't trying to put no brothers on. Damn. That's crazy. Because I guarantee you B-Hop got some names on there. But damn. He ain't trying to fight no brothers. Those are your strays in the chat. I'm going to give you some homework, goddammit. And don't bring y'all punk ass back over here to the chat until you get this homework done. I want you to do a little research, right? And find out why Boots is pretty much implementing segregated measures and prohibiting himself and his team to fight black fighters. What is wrong with fighting another black fighter? Why has he not? Why does he have the lowest percentage of champions right now with black fighters on his resume? What in the hell are we doing? Is this the Charleston White of boxing? You don't like getting in the ring fighting blacks? Damn. That's crazy, yo. Crawford got his own street up there. I know, right? You know, Crawford has a suite or a high rise over there somewhere, man. Because look, they're making the same mistake now. The last fan base that was talking so much about Crawford, because Eddie Hearns brought him up again. The last fan base that was talking so much shit about Crawford, we all know what happened to them. And to be honest, I don't know where Boots fan base is at, really. I don't know who they are. I think they still taking the head count trying to figure out who's legitimate, you know, his fan base or not, because clearly he don't care, man. He was on his phone, man. His phone mean more to him than anything. See how I gave you that one shine. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Y'all give a damn about him. That's right. That's all y'all talk about. Bud. Always, hey, y'all talk about Bud so much. When y'all up there smoking, you don't even say, hey man, give me that Bud. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have gave Bud his respect. No, don't say Bud no more. That's no, we don't do that no more. Call it by a different name, man. Because that's for our boxing conversations. You know, that we don't want to go down to smoking on the Bud pack too much when him and Boots don't have a fight coming up. You know, we don't want to seem like we glorified freaking cheerleaders over here talking about Bud's name. Why would he even allow Eddie Hearns to bring Bud's name up? And that fight is not going to go down anytime soon. Why? Why would Eddie Hearns put out to the media clout chasing Crawford's name? Huh, Ennis? Eddie? Why, bro? Why are y'all still clout chasing this man's name? That man has already moved on about to face Canelo Alvarez. I'm on my Jamel Charlo shit talking to James Harden on the sideline. I don't know what this nigga talking about. I already been there, done that. I'm about to step in the ring with Canelo. I'm on my motherfucking Mel Charlo, dog. Charlo over here telling James Harden, I don't know what that nigga doing. I already did that. I'm about to fight Canelo. Ain't nobody talking about no Boots if you got that Crawford, dog. Hey, real talk, bro. Ain't nobody talking about that shit, man. Come on, Strays. Look, Strays, do me a favor, yo. If you're gonna be over here in the chat, man, look at the ones that's over here. Look at the hottest chat in the game, man. Take notes off them because you're not really typing anything in the chat that makes sense, man. Stay on topic. Stop being pro bono cheerleaders. Okay? Damn. He said, to be honest, W says that they were ever going to fight, majority of Philly would have went for Boots because it's just a Philly thing, but not me. I'm going for the guy who I think will win, and that's Bud. Hey, what I'll say to that, Carlos, is that I can see if they were speaking on Bud's name as if he was still at 47. You know, but we totally understand that Bud has since transferred all of his attendance to 154 pounds with a debut championship fight, recording a victory on his boxing ledger last year, 2024. So what I'm trying to say, he's already made progress away from the 147-pound division, but obviously residue has been left behind. Grimy bacterial fungi, or should I say fungus, has now grown into living organisms who select to talk about old shit. Why are you still talking about Crawford? Your primary focus should be with the champions that are in the welterweight division, goddammit. Carlos, talk to them cats up there, man. If you out and you walk into the bodega, bro, just put something on your sleeve. You know, just put a message on your sleeve or something, man. Because they don't get it, man. These cats don't get it. What's the point of dropping a link for? You gonna get up here? What are you gonna say? Look, I don't need to drop the link and hear you get up here and say the same stuff, man. You look, I don't know you, so I don't have time to be going through personal, verbal sparring with someone just to sit up here and say it's Atlanta against whoever. You have to explain right off the top. This have to be off your recall memory. If we're gonna stick on boxing, do not come up here bigging up Karen. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna big up Karen. Karen is not going to be the topic of the conversation, bro. We're not going to do that. That's not going to be your leading talking point about Boots. Because I'm telling you, you're going to find yourself in the inferno very, very quickly. Look, why do you need, look, you talking about left the division. What is he supposed to do? If he's having a struggle making the weight, he made the weight for the right person, for the person that's on the pound for pound list. Obviously, you shouldn't be talking about leaving the division because that may ultimately happen to Boots if he stays down there too long. The man made the weight for the fight he was supposed to make. And he went in there and got it done in dominating fashion. Why you cats over there in Philly was hating on him? You know what I'm saying? Y'all was hating on him because y'all was going for Spence. I get it. It still is a deep, dark, corner pocket. Y'all got that 8-ball rolling around in your motherfucking thought process all the time because y'all hate it so much and you didn't get the results you wanted. Oh, he's definitely top. Wherever Bud Crawford goes, he's definitely top. He's definitely top dog. Definitely. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There go the link, man. There goes the link right there. You asked for the link. I just dropped the link. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna give you a preliminary warning. If you're not saying something that's productive and you on some personal shit, I don't have time for it. If you want to talk about what needs to be done for the 147-pound division, then I'm all for it. I want to hear something new. If you're going to stake your claim that Boots is this guy and here's why, then that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear all this shit about Georgia and all this other shit, man. I want to hear something that's productive. Hey, that person that asked for the link, don't take all day, man. Don't just say drop the link and it's dropped. Because I know some of you are just now jumping on the Boots bandwagon and you want to fight in his honor. I know you do. You want to fight in his honor. You got to go send the links out first so you can build up your confidence with a group of people to come over here hoping to get educated. Come on now. Don't wait too long, man. Don't wait too long. I heard all your bumbling in the chat, man. Don't wait too long. Come on now. Let's get to it. I want to hear this knowledge. You wasted my time, man. You asked for the link and you don't want to show up. What's going on, man? Come on, man. Don't run amok. Come on here and talk about Team Ennis and how you have been a lifetime member and how he's a new polarizing figure in the sport of boxing. How his performance last night, it measures up to the greats. Just based off that one, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, come up here in your drunken state and please explain to the fans. Come on, man. You asked for the link. Why are you taking so long, bro? Hey, man. Hey, you ain't lying, Jessica. I'm glad. Look, it's hard for me to determine if they're Boots fan, Jessica, or Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence retirees. I'm trying to figure out, did these people just cross the goddamn border from Texas over to Philly based off that performance? I'm trying to identify the latitude, longitude, because I'm only seeing like one, two or three. That ain't shit. 2 or 3 strays in the chat. That ain't too much of anything, god damn it. I mean, come on, man. 2 or 3 strays in the chat, man. I can't even call animal control on that. I can get rid of them myself. For real. After that performance, the way they're gloating, I mean, that's it. 2 or 3 strays. Man, come on now. Come on. I need enough, so I need to take out my can of Charleston White Special Mace. I need the mustard gas up in this bitch to stop a Kodiak bear. That's what I thought. I dropped the link in the chat. Once again, typical. Talk all that shit about dropping the link. And then you say, oh shit, he dropped the link. He usually don't drop the link, but he dropped the link. I don't know if he's going to recognize my voice or not. But let me back on up out of here. Let me go up here and see what Spence is doing. I mean, Boots is doing. Yeah, you told on yourself. Come on now. Bro, hey, whoever you are, if you're not gonna click the link, man, I'm not gonna address it, man. You can say, you can voice and advocate for your fighter by clicking the link. You know, while there's still a couple of hours left on this Sunday. For real. All that typing, kudos to you, man. You know how to use your home keys and shit. You know, you actually have 2 thumbs, I see. Kudos to you, bro. But the link is in the chat, man. You've been talking about Norman so much that you probably helped him, you know, probably gain another fan. You probably another fan, bro. So now you're a chauvinist. You're a male chauvinist, huh? You're a narcissist. Huh? You're a misogynistic bastard, huh? So a dude can't fight on a female's card? You trying to tell me on a female spectrum of boxing, you don't respect none of them? Now it's all coming to fruition, huh? You only up here talking about the male side. You don't respect the female going in there and banging out, huh? You don't respect that. You're a chauvinist. You're a male chauvinist, bro. You don't respect the sport of boxing. You trying to dog out female boxing like they don't have history too. Yeah, OG, he ducking like Boots did with Bud, right? You know, they said put the link in the chat and then they disappear. I guess they feel good that they actually got me to do something so they can feel like that's forward motion and Boots getting to where he needs to be. No, Boots is fighting Gilsoff and not Norman, okay? He ain't trying to fight. That means he's gonna be 28 years old, in June this year. He's damn near 30. And this dude is talking about his body. He's thinking his body's not gonna start growing. I mean, he's about to seriously grow out that 20-year-old and get into the 30s. That weight cut is gonna get way more difficult, shawty. Man, I don't care where I showed up at. I don't care where I showed up at, bro. You didn't click the link. You showed up over here. I don't care if I showed up in your algorithm. I said you can click the link and talk because you probably have a familiar voice that I know already. Or if you're a Boots fan, you just don't have the courage to step up here and talk to someone that's in the South right here. I don't think you want to talk boxing. You just want to chat. That's all. You just want to chat with a brother. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I give you 2 sets of 60 seconds. I give you 2 sets of 60 seconds to get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? If you want to click the link, click the link. I give you 2 sets of 60 seconds. Man, he ain't doing shit, man. Nobody want to see no top rank opponent. We already went through the Karen shit. Man, educate yourself. We already went through the Karen shit, man. Didn't nobody want to see that. And now we want to act like, oh man, he's about to fight Gilsoft, the dude that fought and got a victory. Man, nobody's trying to see that motherfucker. Ain't nobody gonna mention Gilsoft after they fight. You imagine how the press conference is gonna be? Real talk. Can you imagine Gilsoft and Boots press conference? It'll make a goddamn sloth get up and start sprinting to the tree. And we know how slow a sloth move across the street, right? It'll make a sloth do the 2-step on your ass and goddamn start up rocking and shit. B-boy. For real. A sloth will get up and start doing an electric slide just to get up out that presser. Can you imagine how boring? Look, these boring ass press conferences, man, they got to become extinct. We tired of these boring ass pressers, yo. Every time you think we want to see a dude on his phone, why even come to the presser if you ain't gonna address the media? There's no need for you to come to the presser, bro. It just seems like down here, Norman Jr. is in a place where it seems like, he's doing a press tour, as y'all say, and he's talking and building up his fan base. He's basically completing whole sets of dialogue that consist of, more than 20 sentences. Unlike at the press, I'm giving my, I told him, I get that fighter. I want to, I'm talking, yeah, Sling Blade. Sling Blade. I mean, come on. Damn, I hope they fight soon. So at least Norman can be the one who initiate the combo. I mean, seriously. We need some goddamn personality up in that motherfucking dog. Seriously, I don't plan on tuning into another Boots press conference unless it's one that's late at night. One that I need to kickstart my endorphins. Goddamn it. I mean, it's real talk. If I am having problem falling asleep, I'm gonna make sure I listen to one of his press conferences. God damn it, right before I lay my head to sleep, and hopefully my endorphins kick in and that melatonin and shit, and I'm good. Hey man, shit. Seriously, bro. I know you didn't say that click the link. I said you're doing a lot of typing, bro. Are you listening? I say you're doing a lot of typing. Just click the link. If I see you in the chat, how are you blocked, man? You're doing too much, man. If I see your comment, you're not blocked. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. I mean, just sit up here and play games for next time. But to the ones, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, man. Shout out to y'all as always. The real ones, quality over quantity. Appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. Wish y'all nothing but a wonderful week as you start your work day. Remember, to the hottest chat in the MF and game, when you go to work and you hear these Ennis fans trying to build him up and they up there talking that bullshit, don't jeopardize your job over trying to explain to them. Don't do it, because you're just going to be talking on deaf ears, yo. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just say, for a small fee, for a small consultation fee, I will bring you back down to reality. I'll talk to you in another setting. I will provide the therapy that you need, because that's what you got to do with the Boots fan. You got to provide them, because those are Errol Spence / Jerron Ennis fans. They haven't absolutely totally committed to Boots just yet. You feel me? They're in the process of transitioning. Yes, they're trying to see what the assignment is. Is it worth their time? Because look, they're still reeling in hurt, anguish from July 29, 2023. God damn it. They still haven't let that shit go. Yeah, I try my best. When I'm talking about Boots, I try my best. When it comes to that July 29th, I try not to bring it up. But when y'all go to work tomorrow, just say, hey, I just charge a small fee to help y'all understand that the same shit is about to go down with Boots that happened to Spence. Fuck around and find out, goddammit. Just fuck around and find out, man. That's all. I don't want y'all having no panic attack. Listen to these cats talk that shit. Talking about he's top 3 greatest of all time off of Stanton. No. Walk away, yo. Hey, Carlos, you hear him? Walk away, bro. Don't jeopardize your employment trying to explain to these cats. Don't do it, man. There's no help for them. For real. Shout out to Blue Hustle in the building, man. Salute to you. But, man, y'all hold it down, man. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.